Hi everyone, and welcome to the Aquarius January 2023 weekly illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. So hi everyone and welcome. In this reading, we're going to be taking a look at the energies of the week ahead. We're going to be looking at what you're bringing to the week, what's going to be going on around you, and then any blocks, challenges, or opportunities that are waiting for you. So Aquarius, we just came out of this weekend having a super new moon in your sign. So I'd be very curious to hear from any of you as to if there was any breakthroughs or just how you felt the weekend went. It was kind of I like to see a gateway new moon into kind of a new version of ourselves that we're focusing on, that we really like to kind of bring to light this year, but really capitalize on in 2024. So Aquarius, you have the Hermit. That's the energy that you're bringing to the table here. And it's a beautiful energy of soul seeking. It's where we get to have that opportunity to kind of distance ourselves from everything around us, and we get to go within to really find our inner light. What makes us special, beautiful? What is that great hope, dream that's been kind of living perhaps dormant inside of us or inside of you, Aquarius? So it's a really it's a energy that will lead to great awareness of self. And in your external environment, we have one of kind of moving on, transcendence. So this is actually what is looking to be a very, I feel for you guys, for many of you, kind of freeing. There might be an opportunity this week to really see maybe clearly now for the first time what is no longer serving you, what it's time to just kind of let go of or mentally move on from. Now, in kind of going up here and looking from the past all the way up into the present, in the past we have that you guys have been kind of maybe going through a little bit of this feeling like the way has been unclear for some time. With the moon coming in, that can be where we've been asked to walk a path on faith, and we've kind of just been moving without truly being able to see. And with the Seven of Cups coming in on top of that, this shows kind of like an extra layer of illusion coming in, where there seems to be so many opportunities and we can't quite pin down which one is for us on an emotional level. What is going to make me happy? Now, your present energy here is the Seven of Wands, which is a card where we are standing firm in our convictions and protecting or defending where we are choosing to take action at this time. So for some of you, there may be this kind of moment of clarity as to suddenly, and we'll see what's going on here, but I do feel with this Six of Swords in your external environment, there's going to be a moment, I think, of that clarity of, at least if you don't know what to pick, you know at least what you want to move on from. And that's going to be this week where you're going to start to stand firm because of something you're discovering within yourself. Now, I'm using the Light Seers Tarot this week. I kind of reconnected with it over the weekend. I did new moon predictions for all signs. That video is posted on my website if you're interested in watching it. But I just really felt connected to it again. So I used to work with this one a lot, and I kind of, the energy left it for a while and it's come back. So I'm using it this week, which has been producing some beautiful messages here. So what I'm going to do now is pull some cards. We're going to look at the challenges or the blocks that might be coming up, and then the opportunity that's going to be coming in for you as well. I'm a big believer that there are always opportunities coming in every day, every week, every minute, and they are the opportunities that when we are present in our day-to-day experience, we can really make use of and connect with. And this is really what allows us to stay emotionally engaged with our life experience. Okay, so we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is interesting because I did your opposing sign, Leo. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I think it might have been Pisces, actually. Pisces got this card in the same placement. So for some of you Aquariuses, you might have a Pisces placement prominent in your birth chart, or you might be dealing with a Pisces in your experience. So Knight of Pentacles is your main point of challenge, with the Page of Cups coming up after, which is interesting because this is a card that harnesses the Piscean energy. I do feel like some of you maybe are cutting yourselves off from your ability to kind of lean into that dreamy state of well, what if this was possible for me? What if I was able to kind of move on from a place I've been stuck in for some time? And now that I'm reconnecting with what I bring to the table and the magic that lies within, what if I could share that with others in this beautiful way, and what might come from that? But with the Knight of Pentacles kind of blocking you from really embracing this energy, this, kind of getting back to that like childlike optimism around what you feel and what you love about your life. And the Knight of Pentacles is that kind of it's kind of getting into that analysis paralysis. It's where you're looking a little too much into the future of, well, what do I want to work towards? What are the steps? What are the practical steps I have to take? And it's almost like you're too focused on that to just kind of lean into, well, what am I feeling? And maybe, who knows, maybe this has been a long time goal of yours and you've just been steadily working towards it. And it's just suddenly that you're realizing, wow, I need to dream bigger, or I'm totally no longer emotionally connected to what I've been building here. Or it's that you're trying so hard to see, when we think of the Six of Swords out here, this individual, they're just getting into the boat and they're moving on. They're moving on from kind of the choppy waters and they're moving on to a calm sea ahead. And it's just as simple as getting in the boat and going. They don't know the destination. They don't know everything that, you see in this boat. There is not a bunch of luggage or things that they're taking with them. They're simply just saying, we can't be here anymore because it was just too much. And now it's time for us to move on to better things ahead. And so they do with full faith. Now, the Knight of Pentacles, there's this feeling here of kind of control but I have to have everything perfect, but I have to have the steps. I have to focus on that. And this might be where this week you kind of get very clear as to, well, what have I been blocking myself from just really wanting, really enjoying? Because in the heart of your reading here, we have the World. And this is what Spirit's asking you to embrace this week, which is kind of a hard and fast end to a major life cycle that you've been going through. And so this could be a hard and fast end to a part of your life that you're now being asked to move on from. And this could be a career path. This, some of you might be retiring. This could be a relationship, or how you've been in a relationship. Maybe up until now you were always the breadwinner, and now you're the individual who is no longer the breadwinner. It could be the reverse. It could also be that this is a hard and fast end as to where you lived, how you lived. So really keep that in mind, that something has come to an end. It's time for you to celebrate that, to see how far you've come, to see all the life lessons you've learned because of that. And on the other side of that, we have the Eight of Cups, which is where you get very clear. So we move from the Seven of Cups up here to the Eight of Cups. The Seven of Cups is when we get stuck in that illusion of, well, what is outside of myself that I'm trying to cling to find happiness and enjoyment in life? And when we get too much focused on the external, we forget that it's actually within us to find what we emotionally want to connect to. It's not about looking for something outside of ourselves to say this is going to make me happy. It's about saying, well, what need within myself do I need to follow or meet to make myself feel that sense of contentment and happiness? And with the Eight of Cups, you're progressing here to realizing, well, if it's me looking at my cup and me wondering here with the Page of Cups, well, what is that dream? What is that part of myself I really want to connect to? It's going to show you where something in your life is not fulfilling on an emotional level. It's going to show you some place very clear as to where it's now time to move on from. And this is a place where you have invested a lot of emotional investment into. This could be, again, where you've been living for a long period of time. This could be how you've been living for a long period of time. This could be a career path you have invested a lot of time and energy into, and again, kind of blood, sweat, and tears, that emotional component. A relationship, whatever it is, and you're going to realize, okay, well, if I'm looking at what's in my cup and what I need to have met now as who I am presently, well, something is no longer fulfilling. And that's going to show you again where now it's not only time to emotionally move on, but it's also time to mentally move on. To just release yourself from saying, I have to stay in this place, or I have to stay in this place of work, or I have to stay being like this. Because then in your external environment, which is interesting, we have the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles is someone who knows his value, knows his worth, but also knows where to put his time and energy. He has leveled up from the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is, again, an individual who needs to have that kind of step-by-step progression, because not only is he a knight, he's the one that kind of gets things moving forward, but he's also not to that level yet of the king. He's someone who needs to kind of learn as he goes, and to give himself the kind of the analytical time to say, okay, is this the right decision for the goal that I want to meet? Now, the King of Pentacles is kind of going to almost innately know that at this point. He's someone who's kind of sitting in his abundance, but he's also not going to sit here and get caught up in the details. So there's something here around really owning, I think, your own personal value, but really getting in touch with your emotions this week as to what is that dream, that kind of like, what is the inner child in you desperately looking to connect with? You know, when we go, the hermit, when we get into the soul-seeking place, often we find ourselves face-to-face with our inner child, face-to-face with that part of ourselves that remembered that when we were little, we used to like dream and wish that we were going to do this and that. And suddenly we're like, oh my gosh, I've so been focused on this, I forgot about that dream. I forgot about that part of myself. And now it's time to free that part. And that part is that little kid is going to look right at you in the eye and say, but you don't like to do that. Why are you doing that? And that's going to be that kind of aha moment of like, wait a second, that's the clarity I've been needing. This no longer serves me anymore. It no longer fulfills me. It's time for me to move on. And I think that moving on is what you're defending over here in some capacity. Now, again, it doesn't have to be, let's say, quitting a job. It could be moving on even in a mental place where you are looking at it going, I keep associating, something with my place of work. And now I have to realize, actually, I don't have to bring maybe my past experiences in bad work environments into this one, because that's done. I'm now in a healthy work environment, in a healthy workplace, and now I can just start to dream. Now I can start to emotionally invest myself. Or same thing with in a family unit, you can sit there and say, I'm not going to, and it's interesting that I kind of felt this family vibe come in, or something around wanting to have that come in for you. And we have the 10 of Cups right here. The 10 of Cups is the kind of ultimate feeling of emotional fulfillment that we can create for ourselves. It's the happy family card. It's the we have everything. This looks like a wedding cake here and people celebrating. And I think for many of you, there might have been, maybe you were really focused on, I'm going to make this happen for myself. I'm going to work towards my 10 of Cups, and here I go. But the 10 of Cups is this kind of ephemeral, taking a little piece of our imagination that's tied to what our version of heaven would be like and bringing it down on earth. And that's not something that we can kind of, very succinctly have step by step, this is how I'm going to create heaven on earth for myself. It doesn't really work like that. So we can actually stifle ourselves from really kind of leaning into the feeling of the dream. There's also this feeling too of, maybe now as you're kind of looking out to the horizon as to what you want to keep planning, you realize, wow, I need to dream bigger. There is a level of emotional fulfillment now that seems much bigger for myself, that might change the course of what you've already kind of put into action. And I was just going to pull extra cups. So here's the 8 of Cups again, with right here with the Knight of Pentacles, 8 of Cups in the Fool. Yeah, it's time for a fresh start. It's time for you to walk away from something that was not fulfilling. And it is around the 10 of Cups, and it's time to just go. The Fool is just a true, let's just go out there. Let's take that flying leap into the new. Now with Death coming in with the Page of Cups, the Death shows that there, maybe there needs to be, let's see here, to free the Knight of Wands. I think for some of you, maybe, you've been kind of stuck in this energy of either you don't know what you want to dream, you don't know what that is, or you haven't allowed yourself to really, again, just embrace that. Because with Death coming in, this says that there may have been you kind of forgetting your inner child. You might have kind of pushed that part of yourself to the side for some time. And in doing so, in kind of pushing your own needs and that beautiful, curious, innocent version of yourself aside, you stopped yourself from really being able to just go out there and make your own. I'm starting to really see the Knight of Wands as the freedom to make your own choices and where you'd like to take action. And I think for some of you, that part of your experience, you've had to push something deep within you down and aside, and it was also the part of yourself that kind of kept you trapped. And now there's this almost like death. When we think of death, death has to come in to just kind of talk about a hard and fast stop, right? That's like the hard and fast. It's time to get really, again, time to move on from something. It's time to move on from that. And for many of you, this might have been where you're kind of maybe sitting and going, man, I wish this would happen. And this is saying, well, don't just wish it anymore. Believe that it's here for you and that it's time for you to go out and seek it. And now this could be go out and seek it again, or just go out and seek it. It's not enough sometimes just to feel something. The Knight of Wands says now it's time to take action from that place. Now it's time to go out there and actually physically start to make movement on this reconnection to a dream, reconnection to your magic, reconnection to, with the Ten of Cups coming into, I'm just seeing the Ten of Cups, Eight of Cups, and the Fool. For many of you, you are working towards this Ten of Cups for some time. And that Ten of Cups can be, again, the ultimate heart's fulfillment. But somewhere down the line, the plan didn't quite get you all the way there. So now there's a moment where it's time to walk away. And this may be for some of you that you might have to walk away from a relationship, or truly from where you've been working for a long period of time, or where you've been living. And because now you see a bigger dream for yourself, you're realizing some aspect of what maybe you had planned to move towards and what wasn't working with that plan. So now we have the Two of Coins, or the Two of Pentacles, and the Five of Cups coming with the World. Yeah, this is really looking at what was, disappointing in your day-to-day. You're kind of being asked to embrace the end to something. This might be the end to a routine you've had for a long period of time that maybe was started because of a disappointment, an emotional disappointment. And I think now it's almost like it's time to get out of the habit of just doing something for the sake of doing something, protecting yourself from this emotional disappointment. And it's saying now it's time to that this cycle has come to an end of just, I'm going to just focus on the day to day. I'm going to just go to work, come home, do whatever. And what the Five of Cups is really showing me here is that you haven't been connecting on that deep emotional level with another individual or with others, because that's what the Two of Cups speaks to, that vulnerable connecting of the cup that the page holds in this kind of excited, supportive, vulnerable way. And so now we have the Eight of Cups with the King of Coins coming in on top of it again. Very interesting with the Queen of Cups coming in as well. There is, I think for some of you, there might be a walking away from two things. Because the King of Pentacles is the last card here, and this is what you're being asked to kind of embrace, but so that you can move on for something. I think there is an element here of fear associated with the attachment to the physical. Now, why do I say that? Because we have the King of Pentacles, and then we also have the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is someone who holds her cup dear. On an emotional level, she understands the value of her emotions, of her needs, her wants, how she can share that with others. Is this level of unconditional love for herself that then she can also translate out to others as well. And I think for many of you, there's this realization of how much you have not been holding your own cup dear, and maybe have been focusing a little too much on the physical, too much on, maybe what you have to work towards, what you have to attain in the present. But there's also a feeling here too, perhaps some of you are not recognizing your value in the physical, that when you actually realize here what you're capable of, what you bring to the scenario and whatever situation is, whether it's in your home life and it's what you tangibly do in the day-to-day in your physical environment, or whatever, or what you bring to your work life, and it's literally what you bring every time you go into work. There's an element here of understanding that you have a mastery in that and that you can capitalize on it, but that where you are now is not allowing you to kind of level up in that area. So this could be even like you really want to have a home for yourself, and you've been kind of holding yourself back from that because, I don't know if I even have the ability to maintain a house. I don't know if I have the ability to be able to do that. And this is saying most likely either the reason why you feel that way is because either A, you had an opportunity in the past and it didn't work out, and so now you don't trust your own abilities, and that's where you kind of got stuck in this like hyper planning process of like, I have to perfect something, I have to keep saving, I have to keep doing this. Or this is where you just at this point, you're at the point to buy the house, but you've gotten too kind of into the day-to-day of like, well, I'm just going to forever live in my, one-bedroom condo or my one-bedroom apartment. And, this is where when I was with my ex, he broke up with me. And so this was like the little bit of security that I had. And it was so good for me at that time. And you just kind of have, now it's become a routine. It's like, well, this is my little safe haven, my one-bedroom apartment that at least even when I had nothing, I had this, and I'm going to just hang on to it. And it's saying it's time for you, that is actually now when you look at it, no longer emotionally fulfilling for you. It's no longer emotionally supportive of you. And it's time now for you to realize you can level up, but you have to really understand the needs now that you have within your cup. It's to bring the focus back from the outside, other people, other things, bring it back to yourself and realize, yeah, you have the capability, Aquarius, to make manifest whatever is coming your way, or to take on the responsibility of the physical, of leveling up in some way in the physical experience. Okay, and so for the King of Pentacles, we have the Hermit. So here you come. And the Nine of Wands. Yeah, I think you guys have been in this period for some time. The Nine of Wands can speak to a little bit of burnout. It can speak to you've just been going and going and going, and it's been a long kind of slog. And I think that's kind of where the death of this free individual right here, the freedom seeking part of you, kind of got lost in this having to kind of go step by step by step by step. And now it's saying, but look at how much you've learned about yourself and how far you've come, and what that's shown you about your inner light, and what has kept you going in spite of all of the maybe external circumstances of what didn't work out in the past or what wasn't fulfilling to you. And now it's saying it's time for you to kind of like almost muster your own courage. Get to that place of like, okay, I can do it. I've found my inner strength within myself, and I'm ready to step into this king energy. And it's going to allow me to mentally transcend a limitation I have placed on myself for some time. And this might be where there's this feeling of one of two things. You might have wrestled with the tangible, like with your relationship to money, that maybe you were never able to save appropriately before, or you've saved too much and clung to money, and that was always like your safety and security. Now you're being asked to spend it to be able to accomplish something in your life that's going to bring great emotional fulfillment for you. Or you might have told yourself you were never going to be able to make over a certain amount of money, and suddenly you're being shown, well, wherever you're at now is not worth your value. You have the ability and the skill set to kind of keep going from this place, but you have to understand your magic first. You have to understand what you uniquely bring to the situation. And that's where you get to capitalize on that. That's what the King of Pentacles is a master of. And at the bottom of the deck here, we have Justice, a major rebalancing. So there is a point here where a scale is not in place. And it is your ability to, I think, repair your relationship with the physical experience, time, energy, money, that is going to allow a major rebalancing, a harmony, a peace to come through. And that is also what the Six of Swords speaks to, harmony and peace. Truly moving on to calmer waters. But there is a decision here. There's going to be this, there's something to walk away from and something to walk towards. Okay, well, wow, 2 cards came out. 3 cards came out right away, so I'm going to just go ahead here and look at them. We have Leap. It says, you go first, the universe will catch you. And there's the Fool and the Knight of Wands, the freedom. This is Spirit's permission to say, you can make that change. And then it says you're already doing it. Stop overthinking, keep facing your true north. Beautiful. So whatever plan you've had in action, it is working. Whatever you've done in the day-to-day, it has gotten you to a certain place. But now this is about kind of getting out of the illusion and getting into what is it now that you know in your heart of hearts is no longer fulfilling for you. And that's going to be that kind of key indicator as to where perhaps, again, you're not leaning into your own value, your own worth, and what you can capitalize on yourself on. So it says the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. I love it. So coming out of the darkness into the light. And it may have felt like a long journey for some of you, or it may not have. Maybe some of you have just kind of recently gone through this energy. But I do feel like for some of you, and I'm going to pull just a couple extra clarifiers here, because this is a big message kind of in a small way. I don't know how else to explain it, but I think for many of you, you've known for some time that there's been this part of yourself you've kind of pushed aside, this, again, the dreamer part. And this is maybe a new cycle that's starting that's going to allow that dreamer within you to expand. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to pull some clarifiers here for Leap. Let's see what it says or what comes out. What does Aquarius need to know about Leap? Oh, I love it. The Well. Okay, so the Well is a special card to this specific deck. And the Well speaks to the well of creativity. This is, it's actually associated with Gaia or the earth. And it really asks us to go into that kind of birthplace where all creativity is, and to pull out what is uniquely ours and to work with that. And so I think there's something within you that is waiting to almost be given birth to, in a way, something creative, that, again, that dream. Be led by the dream. Be led by the dream you found as you've been soul seeking. Pull that star out from within, put it in the lantern, and start letting it guide your way home. Okay, I'm going to pull a card now for the initiation. Oh, interesting. 4 of Wands. A celebration of how far you've come. A celebration for how much you have to be grateful for. A firm foundation. And this could be that some of you, this is a card that can indicate marriage. Maybe some of you have literally crossed the threshold, gotten married, or maybe engaged. Maybe this was an engagement celebration, something along those lines. But there is something around a celebration here, around celebrating with others, celebrating the foundation of something that's been created. I'm going to pull one extra card here to see if there's anything else. And we have Judgment and Strength. Wow, yeah, this is a major turning point. Judgment and Strength right there. You will never be the same. Something on a massive level has changed, and you're being asked to have the strength to find the grace within, to embrace the new version of yourself, to embrace the change, and to embrace a celebration of sorts. Again, a celebration of how far you've come. You're just about to step across that threshold. And know that you're already doing it. Allow yourself to have that moment of almost like, if you can imagine yourself, whether you're a man, woman, or however you choose to identify, imagine yourself as that bride to be who is kind of waiting in the wings. The individual, their partner, is already waiting, up in front of everybody else for the ceremony to begin, waiting to see the bride come down the aisle. And you're the bride. You are sitting there getting ready to celebrate whatever it is that is come into your life at this point, the people you want to celebrate with, the people that have shared your journey up to this point. And imagine that now you get to kind of open the doors and see the path ahead to walk towards this 10 of Cups. Whoever that partner is waiting for you, whoever those people who are going to be there to celebrate with you, whatever is at the end of that path as you open the doors, that's the threshold. And that's what you're starting to walk a path towards. Beautiful, powerful, makes me want to cry, Aquarius. I hope you really lean into this reading this week. If you'd like to book your own personal reading, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website to view a list of the services that I offer. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you all again next week, Aquarius, in your next weekly illumination reading. Bye, everyone.